India's competitiveness has improved across the dash in goods, market efficiency, business sophistication and innovation. What do you think is the answer? Why? What's our clue word in the context? What's the clue word, guys? D. Ahuja says D. Everybody else says what? C. Some of you are saying C. Okay. What I want you to do is, okay, if you're confused, again I'm having all the options except A, I think. B, C, D. Somebody said E? I don't know. So what I want you to do is, let me put the question back. India's competitiveness has improved across the line, border, states, board, limit. What can I eliminate in blank 1? What can I eliminate in blank 1 which is not making logical sense? Think about it. Across the line means what line? Across the border means what are we talking about? Which border? Where? Pakistan-India border? What border? Across the states. Across the board, which means whatever. It's a very general context, right? I can apply D there because it's very generic. Across the limit, what limit? Where is the context talking about any limit? So I have a problem with A, B and E. Let me keep that in the parking lot because some of you came and said those are the answer options. Let me focus on my second blank. Okay, focus on second blank. LOC is not there, no Neeraj. What are you introducing LOC? It just says across the line. Now, second blank. India's competitiveness has improved across the dash in dash, and then I have some sectors mentioned. What is it? Goods market efficiency, business sophistication and innovation. These are my clues. It's saying the competitiveness that they are talking about is related to these particular areas, right? So I have to relate where, in which area or in which segment or in which sector are they talking about India's competitiveness. The context is giving me a clue. Those are my clues. Goods market efficiency, business sophistication and innovation. If that is the case, yes, in especially, will you say in especially? You don't need this in, no, if you're using especially. Out. In months, illogical, out. In short, when will I say in short? When I want to summarize something, right? I explain everything and then I'll say, in short boss, this is what you need to focus on. Which means what? Yes, I have told you all of this explanation, but I want you to focus on this. In short, to summarize, to put it simply, so that you will get the point, in short, that's not what the context meaning requires, right? So, in short also is incorrect. In particular, yes, that's my collocation. In brief also doesn't make sense because the remaining words, the remaining clue words after the blank is talking about specific areas, specific segments, specific sectors. In particular makes sense and not in brief. Again, in brief is also the same meaning as in short, right? Let me say, in brief meaning what? To summarize. Incorrect. So for my second blank, if I look at it, months, short, brief just doesn't sit. What is the meaning of board here in the context? Why board there? What is board bringing? What meaning is board bringing in here? You tell me. Across board means what? Board has different meanings, right? So, see, I know that board of directors, meaning that's a different meaning. Board, that's a different meaning. Here, across the board means what? That's in fact a collocation, that entire phrase. Across the board meanings whatever categories, right? In this context, it's talking about, let me put it down. So when I say across the board, I am saying indicating all categories. What are my categories? Goods market efficiency, business sophistication and innovation. These are my categories. across the board, which means in all areas or respects. Are you following? Across the board is in fact a collocation, which means across all categories, across all segments, across all sectors, whatever the context is addressing. So we always have to keep in mind, we cannot limit or restrict ourselves to saying, hey, board, I only know this meaning when it comes to board. You need to look at the context. Across the board is a context, is a collocation. Yeah? So our answer option is option D. India's competitiveness has improved across the board, meaning across the different sectors, across the different categories in particular, and they've mentioned what those specific categories are. So good. Fill in the blanks, slight variation. Let's read the directions. In each of these questions, 2 sentences, 1 and 2 are given. Each sentence has a blank in it. 5 words, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 are suggested. Out of these, only one fits at both the places in the context of each sentence. The number of that word is the answer. The militants who attacked the Hiranagar police station and Samba army camp dashed a shopkeeper who lied to them, saying his name was Salim Khan. The policy has not dashed the farming community from severe financial pressure. So basically, these 5 words, we have to choose a word which fits both the blank, right? Which means you need to look for, you know what will help for this sort of a direction? Collocations will help a lot. If you're really good with collocations, right, it will help a lot. Let's look at the question again. So please remember that the option that you choose must meaningfully complete both those sentences, not just one. Okay, keep that in mind. Now you tell me, what is your answer? So most of you are coming back and giving me options between B and E. Okay, let's look at it. I'm gonna go from the back. For example, option 1, I can say the militants who attacked the Hiranagar police station and Samba army camp dash a shopkeeper who lied to them, saying his name was Salim Khan. Yes, identified can fit this context. Context 1, no doubt. But can it fit the context 2? The policy has not identified the farming community from severe financial pressure? No. We are talking about there is a problem that is happening, right? And the policy has not been easy on the farming community, which means they are not exempted from this severe financial pressure. Identified is a wrong word for the second context. I can't really look at identified. It fits perfectly. It may fit perfectly in the first context, but not in the second context, right? What about the other option that most of you came back was option B. Let's look at option B. It says, the militants who attacked the Hiranagar police station and Samba army camp spared a shopkeeper who lied to them, saying his name was Salim Khan. Now, I can look at this word in the first context, thinking on the assumption that even though they attacked that police station and even though this guy lied to them, they still spared his life. They did not do anything to him, right? So that way, meaningfully, I can use spared in the first context. What about the second context? The policy has not spared the farming community, spared them from severe financial pressure, which means the policy, instead of making it easy for the farming community, instead of being an advantage to the farming community to lessen the pressure that they are facing, it has not spared them, which means they still have to undergo that pressure. The policy has not been advantageous. The policy has not been beneficial. The policy has not been helpful for the farming community. So it did not spare them from severe financial pressure, right? So I can use spared. Spared is the only word that I can use in both the contexts, which will be meaningful. Not identified. Identified is suitable only for the first sentence, not the second sentence. The policy has not identified the farming community. You can identify someone. Identify means what? To be able to pull them out, right? To be able to single them out. Like from a group of people, I identified that that guy was nervous, right? There's an interview that's happening. There are 10 guys who have come. I'm looking at everybody and I identified that that guy is nervous because maybe his demeanor, his action, his behavior is very obvious, right? Here, they are not identifying the Famian community. The policy has not spared them. They have to go through that pressure. So answer is B.